We're celebrating 25 years of joy. Pleasure to come to you as always on Business Live. My name is Aboagye-Wiafe. Coming up this evening, Ghana Union of Traders Association registered displeasure at the directives from port authorities and shipping lines over clearance of goods. We'll be speaking with the president of GUTA. Also coming up, private sector continues to respond to government's call to support fight against COVID-19 by donating in cash and kind. All right, so these are headlines that we're working with this evening. Don't go away. I'll bring the details shortly. Many thanks for staying tuned to Business Live. Welcome back. Now, some players in the food business say they have shut down their operations despite being classified as, despite the lockdown and being classified as exempt in this period. Players in the food chain business were excused from the sector that have the shutdown during the lockdown period. But speaking to Joy Business after presenting some fresh fruit juice, CEO of Fresh Juice Bar, Reginald Alote Papu, said he took action in the interests of his staff.
Well, we've had to comply with the president's directive. We've had to also encourage our workers to stay at home because we can't guarantee their safety when they go home, when they're at home and when they're at work. So we don't want to transmit. And because we sell products, if one person is infected, it goes out. So we have decided to take a back seat and wait till the situation cools down. The production process with regards to juice is a bit complicated. So we have to travel far distances to get our fruits, and it's very delicate. So it's best that for now we take a back seat, and we will make a huge loss during this period. But as the president said, the economy can be brought back, but you can't do the same with human life. So it's a risk we have to take.
The HR executive at Multimedia here, Raymond Labi, noted that as a station, they are committed to protecting the interests of workers.
We are very much grateful to Regis Juice Bar for this noble gesture to support the Multimedia Group during this difficult time facing the entire country. We know that you are up and coming business, but the virtue you have shown today, we've acknowledged it, the world has acknowledged it, and it will go a long way to motivate our staff, our cameramen, our journalists, our drivers, who are at the forefront to ensure that information will get to every Ghanaian. We'll forever remain grateful, and we pray that your business will grow from strength to strength beyond the COVID era. So once again, from the Multimedia Group, we say thank you very much.
Now, the Ghana Union of Traders Association, GUTA, is kicking against directives from port authorities and shipping lines over clearance of goods. This was after they insisted that demurrage and rent charges should be paid on containers that continue to remain at the ports over this lockdown period. But the association, in a statement, argues that looking at the current lockdown, it will be difficult to raise the required funds for clearing their goods. GUTA is therefore pushing for a quick government intervention to waive these charges. President of GUTA, Dr. Joseph Obeng, joins me on phone lines for some details. Good afternoon, Doctor. Welcome to Business Live.
Good afternoon, sir.
Now, tell us exactly what your concerns are.
Yeah, our concerns are that we are following the government directives that we should stay at home and that we are under lockdown and that we are incapable or we don't have the logistics to clear our goods. And that during the lockdown period, no demurrages or rent be paid at this period because it is not our fault that we are under lockdown. The whole world is doing this, and every country is protecting its businesses, like the government is also doing here, giving us stimulus packages, paying light bills, and all that for us. I don't see the reason why Kapoha should negate the actions of Gapoha should negate all the effort the president, the government is doing in this regard. That's what we are calling. That government should intervene as soon as possible so that it will not derail its efforts to contain this pandemic, because their action will then push people into going to unlock their shops in order to be able to clear their goods, which is not good for the country at large.
Goods, shipped down into the country before the lockdown was effected or after the lockdown period?
We are talking about the lockdown period. Because, that's why we are being very objective. If somebody has bought his goods and he was not able to clear, you have the records. Those are not the ones that we're talking about. We are talking about the lockdown period. If we are not able to clear, is because we are not able to clear. And it's because that we do not have the logistics, and it is because that we don't even have the funds. Because most times we have to sell some goods before we can get the requisite amount to go and pay the duty. So if you said that if we do not come and clear, because we have opened the opportunity for us to clear, you will remember that when this thing started, they said that essential commodities only will be cleared. And later, Gapoha sent a circular that all goods, window of opportunity have given to all other goods to be cleared. And that's why they started, because at that time we talked, because I have talked to the trade minister, and he has said that, yes, it is not fair for us being under law to pay demurrages. So he called the Ghana Shippers Authority, and I talked with the CEO who said that we have to petition. I said that we can't petition, because this should be a directive from government, and that it will be something for the generality of all. It's not that one have to go and petition and that they will use discretion to disallow or not. That's why we are here today.
In the meantime, what are you going to do to protect the interests of your members?
We know that the government have been listening to our pleas all this time, and we know that this time around they are not going to disappoint us. So once we've made our point known, because most times they will not tell the government. These institutions will frustrate. Because I'll put all the blame at the doorstep of Gapoha, who have brought this. Because how can we do this exercise and tell people to come out and clear their goods? How are we going to do that? We can't do that. Those people who have the capacity to clear, they are clearing their goods. And so those who do not have the capacity should be given the waiver. It's as simple as that. So what do we do? Because the whole world is doing this. Even Cote d'Ivoire is doing the same. India, a country that is bigger than us, has even started its shipping lines not to take the demurrage from shippers. And so we know government will prevail upon this and mitigate as soon as possible, so that we can have our peace while we are being confined.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Joseph Obeng. He's the president of the Ghana Union of Traders Association. Now, away from that, some mining firms have been responding to calls by President Akufo-Addo for the private sector to help in the fight against COVID-19. Goldfields Ghana Limited has donated packets of PPEs and some sanitary items to Takwa Nsuaye municipality. The donation forms part of a comprehensive commitment of $400,000 by the company to support efforts aimed at preventing infections and the spread of the coronavirus in the two communities hosting the Takwa and Dama mines. The Takwa mine is spending its portion of the amount to purchase 2 ambulances and COVID-19 prevention equipment.
Items donated to the directorate included 35,700 pair of hand gloves, 20,000 pieces of pocket-sized hand sanitizers, 8,000 pieces of surgical masks, 800 pieces of sample collection kits, among others. General Manager of the Takwa Mines, Stephen Osei Bimpa, said the donation is part of a comprehensive support package being offered by the company to support host communities in fighting the pandemic.
Proud to Ghana recording its first coronavirus case on 12 March 2020. Goldfields had developed a comprehensive COVID-19 response plan to help prevent infections and spread of the virus in our mine and within the communities we operate. The company has committed over $400,000 to support efforts aimed at preventing infections and the spread of the virus in the communities hosting our two mines, Takwa and Dama mines. In addition, the mine will also provide 2 ambulances, one for the new government hospital and the other for Apinto Hospital, or in Takwa here.
The Municipal Health Directorate, Emmanuel Afekum, who was appreciative of the gesture, praised that organization within Takwa support the establishment of an ultra-modern isolation center which could be used not just for the treatment and management of the pandemic but other diseases.
It has also shown the commitment of all the partners in supporting the government's effort towards addressing the pandemic. We are very grateful as a service to receive such support. The support will go a long way to position the service very well and to be able to manage the situation on hand. In our efforts to fight the coronavirus 19, we will still need support beyond what we have received. The support is in the area of creating an ultra-modern isolation and management center so that we'll be able to use it in holding and manage cases as we record. Beyond using those facilities for the coronavirus cases, it could also serve additional purpose for which the service is ready to bring on board.
In Athalia Kwanza, Joy Business, Western Region.
Meanwhile, the Western North Regional Minister has urged private companies in the region to yield to President Akufo-Addo's call for the private sector to support the fight against coronavirus. Kingsley Aboagye-Wiafe says the region needs the support of these entities to prepare against a possible outbreak of the virus. He made the call when Chirano Gold Mines Limited presented medical supplies, including personal protective equipment, to the region to be distributed to health facilities. Prince Apia has more in this report.
The Western North region is one of the few regions yet to record an infection of coronavirus. Nonetheless, health facilities are being equipped with PPEs and other supplies to make them ready to handle any infection that may be recorded. Vice President and General Manager of Chirano Gold Mines Limited, Teres Watungwa, said being a major stakeholder in the region, the mine has a responsibility to support the efforts by health facilities in the catchment area.
Our precautionary measures for containing the spread of COVID-19 is not only involving Chirano mines, it extends beyond the mine to the catchment area. So when we mean catchment area, we're talking about the communities of Bibiani, Yoso, and Bekwai, as well as the very immediate communities surrounding the mine. So since the country was in a lockdown situation, we also imposed our own lockdown, which means that we are not allowing entrance to our premises by anybody coming from outside. This is just one of a wide range of controls and measures that we've put in place, and it is within our best interest to make sure that we prioritize the safety and health of the people in the catchment area. Facilities that will benefit directly from this are the municipal hospitals of Yoso and Bibiani, as well as the 4 clinics that are in the mine catchment area.
Chirano Gold Mines Limited donated medical supplies worth $45,000 to health facilities in the Western North region. The Western North Regional Minister Kingsley Aboagye-Wiafe commended Chirano Gold Mines, saying the supplies will boost the morale of health workers in the beneficiary facilities.
A lot of the items that you have presented to us are PPEs, that is for the doctors and the health workers. which we are lacking so much. So this is going to embolden our health staff to be able to protect themselves first and then be willing to also deal with patients who will come. Because it is only when they feel safe that they'll be confident enough to do their work as expected. But when they don't have PPEs, it's difficult.
He called on other private industries in the region to lend a helping hand in the COVID-19 fight.
You can never be sure when the disease is going to last, how long it's going to last. These items you have presented, we appreciate it, but it might not be enough to last us for the whole period. That is why we are calling on other organizations operating in our region to emulate your gesture.
Prince Apia reporting.
Now, away from that, beverage manufacturer Kasapreko Company Limited has donated items to the tune of 40,000 Ghana cedis to the Menchia Palace in Kumasi. This is to complement efforts of the Asantehene Ostumfo Setu II to support the poor and vulnerable people in lockdown areas within the Kumasi metropolis. There's more in this report.
The 40,000 worth donation, according to Ni Ahwete Akwete Kujo, the Territory Department Officer for Kasapreko. The donation is part of their corporate social responsibility aimed at supporting the vulnerable affected by the lockdown. The items donated to the Menchia Palace included assorted drinks, water and hand sanitizers.
Preko, as a company, is not oblivious of the COVID-19 pandemic, and in a bid to help eradicate this, Kasapreko stopped some of its lines to come out with hand sanitizers. And you know the WHO recommendations, washing of hands under running water and taking our personal hygiene serious would help in a long way to eradicate the pandemic. So this is a little gesture.
Kasapreko Company Limited is one of the few indigenous companies to produce hand sanitizers in the country after the price of the product skyrocketed when the first few cases of COVID-19 was reported. Before the donation to the Menchia Palace, the company had already presented quantities of hand sanitizers to the Information Ministry, 37 Military Hospital and the Kolebu Teaching Hospital in Accra. Receiving the items on behalf of the Menchia Palace, Bafo Yabuatin Domina Sehene expressed gratitude to the company for their kind gesture. He said it will go a long way to help the poor in the locked down communities.
Now, Afeld, global producers of plant-based spread with iconic brands such as Flora, Rama and Blue Band, have also donated products worth 50,000 Ghana cedis to the National COVID-19 Trust Fund in Accra. According to the Regional Marketing Director, West Africa, Francis Afueni, the move was in fulfillment of the President's call for private-public sector partnerships in fighting the coronavirus pandemic in the country. Here's a report by Philip Ankra.
The COVID-19 National Trust Fund was established by President Akufo-Addo on March 27, 2020, to receive donations to help in funding the cost involved in the fight against the novel coronavirus outbreak in Ghana. In an interview after the donation, Regional Marketing Director, West Africa, Francis Afueni, was optimistic the product will go a long way to fulfill their purpose.
We are making this donation basically because as Afeld, we're a foods company, actually the world's #1 plant-based foods company, and we also have an outlet in Ghana. And we've been observing from afar the government's efforts at trying to curb the pandemic. One of the major pillars of that is trying to provide for the poor and the needy. As a big foods company, we also thought it wise to contribute our quota to this by supporting the government with some nutritious food items like Blue Band, which is our flagship brand in Ghana that everybody knows about, in the preparation of meals for these vulnerable and homeless people. So basically, it is one of the ways we do business, and it's about ensuring that we have healthier and happier meals for families. And this is one way we think we can contribute and help the government of Ghana towards that. So we have actually made product donations worth over 50,000 Ghana cedis. It's 3 categories of products. One is a fat baking margarine, which is basically going to be used for making bread and other bakery or pastries for these less vulnerable and homeless people. We also have our 250-gram Blue Band original, which could be used for cooking as well. And then we also have our little pouch of 75 grams of Blue Band margarine that they can put in these packages as they give to the homeless to be used for spreading as well, but also encourage nutritious eating and to ensure that people still stay healthy at this time.
Several other institutions continue to donate towards the fund.
Now, CEO of the Komfanoche Teaching Hospital has lauded local producers of personal protective equipment for fighting the spread of the COVID-19. Dr. Oheniba Owusu-Danso says reusable face shields, masks and other preventive gears provide unique protection for frontline caregivers. Kumasi-based garment hub Citizen Stevens Enterprise is partnering Extract Clothing Institute for mass production of PPEs from local materials. Ohemin Teria has more.
Government's call for local initiatives in producing pharmaceuticals and anti-coronavirus materials is receiving positive response. Beyond the call, some companies have been engaged to produce such items, including personal protective equipment. Citizen Stevens has capacity to produce 2,500 face shields, masks and health gear daily. It has been augmenting government supplies for protecting frontline staff and various health facilities in Kumasi. With 2 production centers, the fully Ghanaian-owned entity received orders mainly from politicians and other indigenous persons.
We use waterproof materials, just like the surgical mask that we use as filters. So we sampled a couple of materials and we arrived at the best material. And then we did the test as recommended by the World Health Organization, and we realized that yes, this is the best. And then we agreed to use those materials and as filters.
Managers say they are extending the company's clientele to security services and media organizations.
Currently, we have some MPs, some ministers who have ordered us to produce these face masks and shields so that they give to their constituents to put on.
Komfanoche Teaching Hospital is one of the beneficiaries of the company's ingenuity, having received 50 pieces each of face shields and masks.
I am personally enthused by this production because it is locally made, as has been explained by the director of the company. And you can see that, secondly, the items being presented are also reusable. That's also another good plus. And he made me understand that even though the mask is produced from garments, they have in it a filter. Yes, they have in it in a filter that actually also protects the transmission as much as possible. And for me, it's a very good thing that they've done. And I think this is the way we must go.
Meanwhile, officials are looking forward to partnership with government to leverage production.
What we expect the government to do is that there is the need for mass production of these face masks and shields, especially for the frontliners. And we are open to getting a contract from the government to produce, especially for the southern sector of the country, to protect the people and to protect our health service workers.
From Kumasi, for JoyNews, Ohemin Teria reporting.
And just before we go, news just coming in indicate that the National Petroleum Authority, NPA, has removed, finally, the cylinder recirculation margin from the LPG price build-up. My colleague JoyNews has been following up on this. He joins me in the studio with more. George, what more can you say?
So what you can tell is that there has been an official communication to the effect in terms of an email that has been sent from the National Petroleum Authority to all the oil marketing companies, telling them that this new update on this new mail replaces the earlier one that was sent, and that these are the new numbers, showing that indeed that levy that was placed on a kilogram of LPG has been removed. I remember yesterday or just earlier this week there was a back and forth about whether indeed this thing has been removed or not, but it looks like now they have effected the removal by officially communicating to the oil marketing companies.
So what does it mean for
what it means is that the prices should be going back to the earlier price, because the argument was that even though you didn't see any significant increase in price, you could have witnessed some marginal reduction. So maybe now consumers are going to enjoy that marginal reduction that they're supposed to be getting if this levy wasn't placed on it. Remember, the minister said that they are going back for further consultation, even going back to cabinet and see how this levy should be applied onto the LPG, whether still I have to pay for it or someone else has to absorb it.
So in 30 seconds, I mean, is it going to end the litigation between the MP?
We are still yet to independently establish from COPEC whether they are still going to go. I remember yesterday they told us that they are still going ahead. So maybe following this communication, they might take steps to withdraw the legal application before court in terms of trying to compel NPA to actually remove this levy.
Thank you very much, George, for that update. And that's it for Business Live. Of course, you can get more of these stories when you log on to our website, myjoyonline.com/business. My name is Emmanuel Aboagye-Wiafe. Have a great weekend.